And we are live. Hi, and welcome to episode 6 of the Untitled Goon podcast. It's me, Ninth Sea Salt, and tonight might be another solo episode this time around, right? Tonight. Uh, and before we get started, I just want to say, or at least apologize for like the late start or like earlier when I was like live before I decided to restart the whole stream. Just some RL stuff involving like my mom just all of a sudden wanting like, oh, I want to buy something, and I don't particularly let anyone know that I'm gonna do a thing. I don't generally tell anyone anything about this whole like stream thing at all. But we should be good now. Tonight I'm not gonna really have like the usual displays up, so it might be a little bland. But yeah. But we're still gonna keep going. We're still gonna do our thing. And I'm gonna try to make sure like this time around I don't breathe super hard on the mic. So I'm just gonna place my headset mic above my nose. Hopefully I don't sound too bad. Uh, but yeah. Tonight's episode is episode 6, shipping gambles and fictional heartstrings. Um, in case you can't tell from the title, I'm saying a lot. I'm the basically tonight's topic is about shipping ships and that little part that you notice in almost any fandom, especially ones with shows revolving around animes, cartoon shows that aren't based on comic books, your favorite like live action show, and things like that. Um, and just because it's only fair that you do this kind of thing, um, I'm just gonna explain what shipping is because that's what you do when you talk about things like abstract as shipping. I shouldn't say it's abstract, but it's whatever. So, in a way, I understand it. Shipping is just you just making up your own couples in your head. Like, if you know what, like having head canons about certain characters' lores or habits or reasons why they do stuff, shipping is come almost like your head canon of romantic couple or friendships or anything like a relationship. A lot of times, like the most popular kinds of ships are the ones that are romantic, as I stated. They can be like you take it one guy character from that you really like, and another person you think the dynamic just match up very well, and you just have fun with it like immensely. So I guess easier to imagine uh example I can give would be like with Pokemon. That's an easy one. Everybody plays Pokemon. One person can just ship Ash with like whatever companions he's with within the season. Like if we were to take if we were to take the Sun and Moon season of Pokemon, you can ship Ash with what was her name, Melody or Lily, for example. Or if you're a person who likes to do like not like a straight relationship, you might ship Lily with like one of the other female characters if you want, or you could just throw her in with some random character where she has no dynamic with, and then you just roll with it because you really like it. You like how it works somehow, and that's basically how shipping is in the most basic things. If you ask someone else who does it, they'll give you a better answer. But that's what I'm rocking with this very, very bad started episode. Do I do it myself? No, because like I don't really do matching people together. That's just some. I'm not really creative with it. If I see like a show right a relationship that's already there, I'm all for it. Unless they purposely make them bad, or it's just not. Unless it's just bad writing, then in that case, oof, oof. But I'm gonna come back to that later. Uh, but do I enjoy seeing people ship things? Yeah, because sometimes I get caught up in it. Sometimes when people come in, because I'm mostly taking this from like Twitter and sadly enough Tumblr. You see people throwing like this shit like, oh, look who I like to pair together. Look at the content I'm making from it, and it's like fun for me seeing it happening each day. Sometimes it's really cute and wholesome. You're like, oh, and I like it. I like what I'm seeing. This is warming me up inside. It makes me feel good to see this. I like it. Keep going. Keep going. And you get caught up and you become a part of that group who supports this pairing that this person is a part of, or maybe is the originator of. I don't know how that sort of stuff works, but here we are. You might even go for like something more lewd, like actual porn of it. Then you'll be like, yeah, some dirty shit that adds a little bit more for you. At half the time, if you're that kind of person, no judgment, unless it's something really weird. And in that case, whoa, you're kind of gross. But then again, so is the rest of the internet. So I'm just gonna have to like stop right there, uh, where I'm at with that. Uh, but yeah, I just like ships because it just provides like people incentive to keep making like mostly art related content on the internet. And sometimes it can be really entertaining because they may come out with comics with something funny happening, and whether you support it or not, some a lot of times are really accurate to like who the characters are and how they would be with one another, even if like the shows themselves don't really come in and be like, oh yeah, they're definitely together, but nothing's stopping you from doing it, and then not and they're not, and the shows themselves and the creators aren't gonna stop you either, because that's exposure to their product and their shows, and that could potentially have people come in and enjoy the stories they've officially written and made canon. Um, and it's just really cute stuff in general, and I want to say more on how much I love it, but so I will. Uh, but I don't really have a lot of words to really continue describing it outside of, oh, it's just super cute. So one other thing that I really like about shippings, other than people being funny about it, is I also get to see how good people are at writing said content. I already touched upon it with talking about how people make funny haha comics with their favorite pairings or whatever. Ooh, phone. Uh, but another fun bit is when you see people try to do some really serious looking stuff going on. Uh, for example, like say they take someone did a pairing for like Bleach, you know, take Ichigo and Orihime, and as a tribute to like that pairing, they do some a more serious, heavy comic about it, and in the same regards as how the funny, the wholesome comic shows off how beautiful these pairings are. They also kind of show off how meaningful they are when especially when these relationships are written very well, or like how they want to show up how great these relationships are if they take some hypothetical like combination and this kind of blooms in this kind of thing. For all I care, if they're really good at writing these things, they could take some really some really random shit, man. Say like some random background character, and all of a sudden they want to pair them up with like one of the more relevant characters. They could literally take some background as janitor, and if they could bullshit their way into pairing them up with like, let's see, let me pick a show. Let's go with My Hero just because they just take some random ass janitor at UA, and they just ship him or her, cause can't count out the LGBT, to take him or her and they just pair them up with like, let's say, Lady Midnight. I think that was her name, and you do a really good job on making it work somehow. People are gonna eat it up, and that's just as fun as seeing people like try to be more realistic about these relationship things. So that's 2 points I made. 2 points that I made here about why I like seeing ships, even though I don't really get into it myself. There's the fun writing. Either it's funny, dramatic, or just wholesome. And it's the hypothetical part where you get to see people come out of nowhere with the most randomest stuff, for better or worse. And that's all just entertainment on the internet. And you can never have enough content because it's another way for like artists to get exposed and get the attention that you feel like they definitely deserve to have. The downside of shipping, I feel like, would be how you just signing yourself up to be part of like factions, and even though you will have your people who support you, you will also have people who will go against you, and that's normal. But sometimes people take their romance stuff a little bit too seriously, and it's just really weird, or it could come out as weird. And I'm not just saying that because sometimes you can tell people's like fetish based on who they like to pair up with whom. Of course, that's just me encouraging people to come up with theories against their friends. I'm not definitely not saying that because I'm me. But yeah, it's just like everything else when it comes to opinions, because ships are like an opinion at the end of the day. At the end of the day, excuse me. You're just gonna have to deal with people being shitheads about something. Uh, and that kind of brings me to my next point. Despite the fact that I don't really have a problem with shipping per se, there's still some issues that I don't like that comes out of it. But my issue isn't necessarily with like the shippers, more so with like some of the shows themselves. Uh, because shipping, just like how it's a great way for people to get together on something that they have in common already, it's also a great way for like say your favorite like show to get people to watch it, to watch them, watch their favorite cartoon, anime, or whatever, and work things out. Especially when like it's a show in which like a lot of relationships are purposely vague. and pretty open, and I feel like it's a bit of a dangerous game to play around with. I shouldn't say dangerous, more like it's a game that they like to risk around with, but I feel like it should be done with a little bit of care. Cause as much as these are just fictional characters, people do put a lot of value in them, and whether you think they should or not, it's there, and it can't be helped too much. Um, I I guess like one specific problem to note is pandering. It, Pandering itself is very general. Um, a lot of shows try to do that all the time. You know, it's like fan service, and like, yeah, I gotta gotta make sure this demographic gets what they want. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how you achieve this. I want you to put it in. As long as people get what they want, it don't matter. That's a problematic thing, and it's also kind of stings when it happens when they try to pander people based through I guess a pairing that they really want to happen. Um, and I don't like it because it doesn't really, when it's done wrong, it's obvious. For for starters, two, it doesn't leave room for like any well written, interesting relationships to happen when you know the it probably should have, especially when it made sense if you want to be logical about who get what love interest happens where. I guess my most obvious, most ready example I could think of out of off the top of my head. This could be something I get flack for. One show is Ruby. Uh, I always had like I shouldn't say always, but ever since like volume volume I don't know which volume when is when like Ruby kind of became lame to me, or no, I shouldn't say lame, but not as fun anymore. But it's definitely the one where it was definitely wherever Valo came after like the whole tournament season where Pyra basically died. Yeah, and it kind of became lame. But one of the things I did enjoy that remained consistent was the relationship between Blake and Sun, the the monkey man with the with one of the coolest weapons in the whole series, which is basically a quarterstaff that is also nunchucks, that is also some flintlock pistols, flintlock pistols, yeah, flintlock, and that was really cool. And he in general was fun, even though like his voice actor, the voice acting for that character is a little hit or miss for me. But I really like the relationship between Blake and him because Blake is basically like this closed off loner type cat girl who can't help but be a loner up until she met Ruby, Yang, and Weiss, and she opens up a little bit. And then after like the whole thing with Adam basically severing off Yang's arm, she became closed off again, and that's where my boy like Sung swooped in to be like a friend she needs. Because while the others are dealing with their issues, like Weiss ended up back in Atlas, she couldn't stop that from happening, and then like Yang was depressed, and then Ruby's just sitting there like, fuck, everything went to shit pretty badly. Wukong decided, yo, she can't be like this. No one's around. Time for her to step up. And I feel like they really built up their like relationship between like the season where they just went on this journey back to like that one island that's primarily full of faunas, throughout to the season where all they do on the island was try to stop Adam's crazy ass revolution in there, and then into Minstrel, I think it was the name of that school with the cowardly lion man. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought they were gonna be a thing because they actually had something built up, you know. And then came these two volumes where Ruby, Team Ruby, reunite again, along with with Ruby, John, Nora, and Ren join up with Yang, Weiss, and Blake. Yeah, and Crow is there too with Maria. Gone the whole train thing, and then all of a sudden, it in comes a new relationship between Yang and Blake. You know, and I respect it. I respect like the part of it where they both like are trying to deal with what happened at the time that they didn't really deal with, but all of a sudden they're trying to make it romantic though, and to me it felt like it was out of nowhere. You know, this is and just so before I continue any further, I want to make sure that you know that this is all This is just my opinion. You can argue against it. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't think it's very hard for anyone to do so, but I don't want people to get any ideas that I'm trying to shit on their Bumblebee ship, the Bumblebees. I'm pretty sure that's what the whole Blake Yang shippers are called. I don't remember. I don't remember what they call the Blake Yang ship in general. I'm pretty sure it's Bumblebee. But yeah, I just felt like these like romantic undertones came out of nowhere when I felt this like some romantic thing. I thought Yang was gonna get with Weiss, and I'm not gonna lie. Where I'm coming from, I am upset about that. Why? Because I am. All right, and I liked it. Elegant, graceful, Weiss, and strong, wild, rough and tough Yang coming together in some holy union. But no, I didn't get that. All I got was two friends going bonding over a traumatic event because one felt guilty that she ran away and didn't protect her friend, while the other one is trying to get over it, but then like the fact that her friend is trying to treat her as a cripple, someone helpless. And I get it. Some people have written characters who come together because of a traumatic event, and that makes their bond stronger, and they develop something romantic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it didn't really feel like that at the time when Adam basically body yanked the fuck out. With his little damn like edgy swordsmanship. You know, it was like at first it's like they try to talk about it, about the whole abandonment thing, and it's like even then that bit I didn't really like too much on because like it shoot, I'm losing my words because of background noise. My parents discussing something, so it's causing me to lose focus. But like, I'll talk about the whole that thing that was happening on a different episode, on a separate some other solo episode I do about like writing character stuff. But basically, I feel like it was one of those times where people coming together and maybe developing something romantic, starting from like them talk about an issue of someone else leaving the group not good because Yang shouldn't be the she could be, she's definitely can be the main one, but she definitely shouldn't have been like the only one talking to her about this. And it's just one of those times where trying to do that as a romantic thing, it didn't work. Especially when it kind of felt like a romantic thing was building up between her and Sun, and Blake already had to, Blake already had to deal with like her chameleon faunus friend re- having feelings for her, and ultimately it kind of just felt like Blake was just like a, they were just experimenting on who would work where with Blake, on like who will be Blake's like girl, who will have Blake as their girlfriend. Will it be Sun? Will it be Chameleon Girl? Or will it be Blake? Chameleon Girl, she just automatically disqualified, and they're not gonna come back to her for a while. But I do hope that she finds someone. I feel bad for not remembering her name though. Sun, he got replaced. He got thrown out. Like, yeah, Sun was cool, but as soon as soon as they separated, got on that train, well, Sun and his lame friend Neptune got on the other train back so they can meet up with the rest of their crew to do shit. It was over, and I didn't realize at the time it was over, especially as soon as like Blake and Yang started talking, and they just, no, it was at the moment, that final moment where they both came together, hold hands to fight against Adam. And it's like, oh, okay, this is happening. And then now Volume 7, see these bits with the both of them together a lot, working together a lot. And it's like, okay, well, now they as even though they are properly building them up to be this thing, I feel like I would have preferred if they done it sooner. I really would have, because I don't care at this point. Um, this might not have been like the best, my best way of describing the problem pandering, but uh, it's definitely an example that I feel like works for me, because they I guess they felt like, okay, this works. People are eating it up. They're excited. They're watching the show. Here we are, and I just don't like that, because of my other main point, which is like trying to pick a ships are just a slippery slope kind of thing. Uh, Sometimes they hit, other times they don't. When once they come out with something more official with them, some people have seen this happen before, but sometimes when you get to that point in the show, you made this like couple an official thing. This is canon. This person are together now. This is canon. No problems. However, if you're, sometimes it don't matter. Like shows like DBZ and stuff, it's fine, because like shipping isn't really a strong component of that fandom, of their respective fandoms. I mean, Naruto, it's like, yeah, I mean, every, they got all these girls wanting to suck Sasuke's dick when back in middle school. Then we got Hinata trying to get with Naruto. Got all these. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I had to say hi to my dad. But yeah, but still, it wasn't like shipping was a strong part of the Naruto fandom, and that was DBZ. They're like, let me just toss this shit in there. Now they're a thing, and people just moved on, didn't give a shit. But in shows where it's a little bit more vague with this whole relationship thing, like say My Hero and whatnot. People, and then here comes everyone with their with with all their ships because not they never made anything set in stone. They just let it all out in the wind, but they do like play around with two characters doing this thing. And as much as it's fun to have like a little playground uh, of playing doll with characters, you kind of have run into the issue where as soon as you put two, especially when it's like they make a big deal within the series. As soon as they put two characters together, sometimes when the shipping bits are very, very, very strong within the fandom, it could brew a whole shitstorm for like a little bit. And it's kind of like this thing where if you're like a person who's not like a nerd, who just like casual when it comes to watching these shows, and you just see like, oh, okay, well, my boy, here's a hypothetical show. Here's a hypothetical show. I'm not gonna make any real examples, but here's two characters. Oh man, Rio and Sakura, fuck it, generic names, are together. Cool. They look cute together. And then all of a sudden you just hop on like Twitter, look through the anime dudes, and then all no, let me back up. You go on Twitter, you just had to check out what's trending. Then you see those two characters trending on Twitter. I'm like, oh cool. Let's see what people are saying. And then you got people who's like, hi, going crazy, like yeah, woo, like when they type it out, it's basically like yeah, together, long live the ship is sailed. We're cannon, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. We don't miss. And then it's like, oh boy, that's nice seeing people like that. And then you get to people who are like, fuck, this is bullshit. I'm gonna bullshit. It doesn't happen often that people start becoming salty over like their ship that they thought was superior in every way didn't become canon. But when it happens, it's kind of lame, you know. Especially when you see people who are really guilty at being like mad, salty, and edgy about these things, complain about it on the internet. Because there's a certain, I guess sometimes when you look at it, there's like a certain amount of delusion that you can't help but notice, and sometimes you sit there and think to yourself, "Damn, get over yourself, man. What the hell is good with you?" And sometimes people feel entitled to a thing just because like they kind of built it up. It became a very popular like ship between a good chunk of people. Sometimes it's like a 50-50 thing. Sometimes when you look at it, it's like, okay, so a majority of people wanted this to happen, but the writers decided, or at least yeah, the writers decided, yo, nope, this is what's happening. This is the sauce. Take it or leave it. And people can't help but be like a little sour about it. And that's just one of many things that makes people like really, really, really upset about these things. It's something that just makes people upset, and now people are calling me. Hold on, give me one moment. People in my house need me, and this is what I get for trying to stream when people are awake. But you can't help these things. So I'm gonna put the stream on intermission, and then when I come back, things should be going smoothly again when it comes to this topic. All right, all right. Let me put some music. All right, all right. I'm back. I'm back on this thing. Where was I? If you wanna, I have chat open. I am streaming this, so if anyone in chat wants to like chime in and help me out with remembering what I'm talking about, just let me know. Wait, no, I remember the issues with people once they get upset that their ship isn't canon. People get uppity, and it kind of goes back to my problem with pandering. People start getting upset because their ship sucked. Aside from like sometimes your ship don't work out and it's just thrown out the window. Sometimes even when it does happen, if they fuck it up, then it's ass, and it ends up being ass. And people don't want their ship to come out ass. They don't want it to come out garbage. They want it to be good. They want it to be well written. But all they got was something that barely tried. We've been baited. Yeah, that happens. Everybody gets baited once they get hyped over something. Shit, I got baited and cheated out of my Weiss Yang relationship chance. Damn it. I mean, I definitely wasn't uppity about it, but I also get the sentiment. I don't want to be cheated out of something like that. Especially when I think it's like super cute and it got me and said like, "Ooh, this bonding, this is too strong, this is too good, very very good." But it didn't work out. You had this image, you already had this sort of like, oh, these two are gonna be great. They're gonna be like this kind of relationship. They're gonna have like little version of themselves some way somehow. It's all gonna power, 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 power. But yikes, what are we supposed to do? You gotta sit here and take it? Nah, that some of them do. Like, well, that didn't work out. But hey, nothing stopping me from shipping them. Anyways, and that's like at least that's where it works out at the end. Anyways, people get over it. They're like, alright, fine, you guys win, but let's change that. Either I'm the majority, or I'm just gonna keep doing my thing here with this duo, and then I'm about to be the littest person in the gang, living my life with my content and devour it. Uh, let's see, what else can I talk about to stretch out this topic? Because I already talked about, like, the problem with shippings in terms of, like, the people themselves. And I already mentioned a little bit of. Oh! Here's one thing that I feel like people don't like when it comes to shows handling, like, pairings. Now, this is stepping away from, like, shipping and more into, like, writing about characters and ships. But here's a problem that I feel like is important: the pacing of the build-up, right? It's probably I don't really have a good example on me right now, but there have probably been a bunch of times where you sit down you enjoy this series like any romance series, and they have this relationship that they've been building it up. However, it's taking too long for there to be any meaningful progress, right? You spent like the first episode or the first chapter reading the two who are supposedly the two main protagonists and love interests meeting together. That should be like the first step into them realizing, oh, I like this person. I, these feelings this person giving me is crazy, you know? It doesn't have to happen right then and there, but the first steps should be there to be like, yeah, these people, it enter the world of I love you, the world of love, but the pacing took a long time in that first episode or chapter. I'm like, okay, fine, fine, whatever. Second episode, third episode, fifth chapter, 10th chapter, and then it wasn't until the 13th chapter or like the 20th episode where it's like, okay, the first big thing that happened with them has happened for them to be want to be together. And you know what it was? Them, at least one of them realizing that they love the other person. What the hell, man? You spent one too many episodes, one too many chapters for to build up their little dynamic, only for one to realize like, oh, I'm in love with this person. Like, what the hell, man? He should, this he or she, they, whatever, should have realized this a long time ago. Should have realized this in like at no more than like the 10th chapter. Not even, maybe a little less than that. Maybe like the fifth one, like midway in the fifth one. Move on to like the next one. They talk to their friends like, I realize I love this person. Like, ah, well, you're a fucking dummy, main character, but I'm gonna help you out in this. And it's a problem because by the time they get there and the time they get together, it's like, oh, like finally, or like, oh, well, I was excited at first, but now I don't care. And that's not cool. That's not cool. It's not fun. It's slow. Why would you do this? Why would you take so long to achieve this one minute, this little thing, this one revelation? We could have dealt with this a long time ago and move on to like the other parts to lead up to like the climax. The climax being they both confess to one another with little plots that happens before the climax where things work out, they deal with obstacles, they got through the obstacles, or the yeah. Of course, the climax doesn't have to be that they confess it to one another. Sometimes that could be like more towards the end, I guess. But if it takes a little bit too long, or it feels like it takes too long to get there, then that's not really fun for like people who really like romance, the romance genre of like their favorite show, anime, cartoon, book, or whatever. That takes way too long. I mean, if it was like a comedy thing, and I mean comedy in the terms of this is a parody of the romance or rom-com genre on some on some Gintama type joint, really exaggerated on like one of the characters being super dense and dumb. Like, okay, you got it because it's part of the joke. But if it's something that's not like a fucking spoof, then then it's not. It's a little. It's kind of a broad moment. once you get to that part, like, whoa, finally, he confessed after 100 episodes. Like 100 episodes. Oh, we spent 300 episodes waiting for this moment of this character finally realizing that he kind of, sort of, not really confirmed, but kind of likes this person. I'm like, what? Why did it take so long? I don't know. That's not something you do. It's mad lame. It's kind of dry in general, but it happens, and it's like, oh man, it's, uh, I guess, whatever. Here we are, man. Uh, I'm happy for you. I don't know how to respond to that if that was the case, you know. Like, I don't really read any romance or romantic comedies. I could be exaggerating that kind of situation, but if there's anyone that wants to, like, confirm this or debunk it, speak up and make your peace. But yeah, that's weird. It's boring, and then I just sit there like I don't care no more, and I don't really. And then you kind of, and I'm afraid that people might end up being stuck with this. Like, what the hell, man? I came here for romantic comedy. Yeah, I want to see them build up and learn to love each other, become an official thing, you know. But not when it's like super late, because then there won't be room for like the other things to come after, like them confessing their love for one another, you know, the obstacles, the drama, other people being jealous all of a sudden out of nowhere, you know, all the other juicy bits. What are we to do? I see. I think my next gripe is mostly another rant about something else, but mostly about a thing that I've noticed mostly in the one romantic esque. No, I shouldn't say romantic esque. There's one romance series that at least I did watch, and I feel like this is like the only one with this kind of example. Uh, Before I continue, uh, the series that I'm thinking of is Citrus. If you don't know what Citrus is, it's this anime slash manga series about this Gyaru chick whose mom got married again with this dude who's a teacher, or he likes to teach abroad for like people less fortunate. And all of a sudden, because of her now more higher status living, she goes to this private school with the girl who would be her stepsister. Now, this whole thing involves like the gay awakening of the Gyaru character. And okay, let me look up her name. Then the description needs a name. Hold on, I got it. It's a Yuri manga, by the way. So that's like the one and only time I read anything that's Yuri or Yaoi. So the main character, the Gyaru one, his name is Yuzu. Oh my god, people calling me again. Sorry about that. To open up a wine for my parents. So yeah, Yuzu Garu mom got me married to a guy who likes to teach about to poor kids in some less fortunate countries. Goes to like a newer high school that's a private school, all girl, with her older stepsister, who's the other main character. What is the issue with it? Now, as much as I had fun going crazy, like, what? What? A lot of it comes from the one thing that kind of makes me feel weird half the time with that specific series, and that's the fact that every time with Yuzu and her older stepsister, um, oh no, wait, Yuzu's the older stepsister. The younger stepsister, who's also more serious and stuff, May. Every time those two get together, at first it's like they just go through the typical, oh man, look at you, you're not serious, you're not disciplined. Like, oh, he's so uptight. It's normal stuff. I'm like, okay, siblings, they're siblings. Every time when they go through some really, really gay ass moment with one another, instead of just talking about it, they fucking sexually assault one another. It's like, what the hell is going on? Why are you going about it this way? What compelled you to rip off one another's like damn shirts and complain to one another like, why you making me feel this way? I don't understand. Like, you really fucking dummies. You're in love, but you're doing this in the weirdest, like, most sus way ever. By basically pouncing on one another. Like, calm yourselves. What's going on? It's like I'm just sitting there, not being able to keep up with the energy. Now I'm pretty sure there's series that have done a lot worse, like being more explicit with the incest and stuff. But damn it, I'm a baby boy walking through these streets, waiting for a second season of Citrus. I don't even know if they're gonna do a second season. I don't even know if they confirmed it. But damn it, I'm not ready for whatever energy they have there. Sometimes these other characters be coming in with something crazy different, like that one childhood friend of Yuzu's. Let's see, let me find her. I'll find. Uh, uh, let me see. Hold on. Ah, Matsuri. That is her name. That is the name. Matsuri. I don't know who the hell. Yeah, she's wild. Out of nowhere, we see her. She be wilding out. She already has like a legion of old ass simps at her beck and calls, giving her money through her fraudulent ass like anime snap premium Snapchat. Shit, this whole series is wild. I'm like, okay, listen, I get it. You want the shit to be intense, but could have not make them like criminals, essentially. I don't know. I'm not. I shouldn't really be judging them, but it's definitely it catches me off guard, and I guess I wish there was a different way to show their intense need for one another. I mean, I could just said with them just doing like the normal default, like I guess pinning each other down and being upset with one another. But like by the time they just like basically force one another force themselves on top of the other. Not well, not to that extent as my wording caused it to sound like, but it kind of, the energy kind of changes. I'm not sure what to do with that, but definitely I'm sure that it has awakened something in a lot of people. And I'm afraid, I'm afraid to find out what. But that was just an off-topic rant from me. Uh, but yeah, ships, man. They're kind of a tough thing. I guess. Well, I shouldn't say that, but they are kind of like a thing that you should pay attention to when you're trying to, if you want to try to look out for people who do it a lot as like their main form of like participation within a given fandom, or at least the fandom that you've created through your series, because like it's not gonna change the success you've gained, but would it does invite discourse. Sometimes you may end up getting things that you don't want, especially when it's like overly negative. You may have to be like, unfortunately, witnesses to people who are probably otherwise decent be mean. But at the same time, though, it's probably worth it because you basically cultivated like, or at least encourage like a good chunk of your community to make a lot of cool stuff that you get to see every day and think is super cute, whether you made their specific ship canon or not, you know. But it's one component as to why fandoms are like a slippery slope at times, or could be hit or miss for some people because like sometimes some things have a little bit too much value over what really matters as a fan of a series. You get into a series because you think the writing's good, the whatever happens is really interesting, and leaves you wanting more. But sometimes, like the community can make things hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? Oh my god, got him. But no, but yeah. Sometimes like depending on the people and how strong they like about shipping, it could be the thing that decisively makes like a given fandom really toxic to outsiders, or if nothing else does, and makes you wonder, damn, why are they like this over two visions of color, two fictional beings, two beings that don't exist. I don't know, but here we are, and but I still like it, you know. You can't have a fandom without like people who create all these different relationships in their heads and make content out of them, or also be slightly more boring, and that's not what you want. And with that, that was episode 7 of the Untitled Goon podcast. I wish I planned that out better. I wish I didn't have so many like, I guess, intermissions and stops in between, but it couldn't be helped. Hopefully next week will be better. I'll try to if I have to, I'll try to push it at a time where like my folks are not active in needing me to do stuff. And I guess have a good night. And you know what? Just for you guys. Boom. Stream ending screen. Follow me on Twitter. Go on YouTube and subscribe. Got other episodes up there and for you to watch. Kind and comment whatever you feel like doing. Follow me here on Twitch if you like if you want more.